What is up, you guys? We're finally back for another match here in VCT Game Changers Academy. I'm your caster today, together with Grammy on English with double E, as we look forward into the final match in the series. How are you feeling, Grammy?
I'm feeling really excited for this final match because previously we've seen so many good matchups between the different teams, right? So this final match is gonna be on the map of Haven, which I do think is a pretty staple map all around. It's been there since the start, so I'm really excited to see it.
Mm-hmm. Really is one of the biggest map that we can overexcite ourselves, especially on what happened earlier. That it was a really one-sided match, really well dominated match in favor of Tom Banka's team and the rest of the players that are also available to use in every skill set that they have to dominate in the other team. But this time around, it's a different set of players. Really, just hope for the best on whatever it is to come. But on this map, Grammy, what are we expecting exactly?
From the attacker side, I kind of expect them to try to go for some defaults before they actually try and go in for a site execute, because Haven is such a large map, right? There's
Mm,
so much map
yeah.
control to be gained by you, so you should be utilizing all of those different lanes that you can go through and trying to find whichever opening that you can get, and you can just kind of
Mhm.
capitalize off that.
I think in Haven, most probably is that we are going to expect is the trade-offs or the usage and the exchanges of the utilities. So I'm talking about especially on the initiator setup and their composition. Most likely in this map of Haven, we're expecting those initiators to come to have those highlight plays and to be one of those wings to fly, or one of those reasons that that duelist or the other players on their team will have their wings to fly on to these sites, especially once they dominate in the sites. But speaking of initiators, what are the initiators that we are looking forward to in this map?
I do think for this map itself, Sova and Sky are pretty much the more they have the higher pick rates on this map, right? But we do
Mhm.
see Breach coming out from time to time as well, which I do think is really powerful, especially since if the enemy team is running a Killjoy, you can just break her utility with like 300 credits, so
Oh,
it's really worth
actually.
it for you.
Yeah, really is one of the crucial plays that may happen here in this map, especially that we're talking about the utilities here. We're talking about how the agent counters in another with the specific lineups of what we have is the shock darts, or even have here the C's coming in from Fade. And speaking of Fade, we saw her earlier, but it didn't work out well. Will it be the same time this time, or will it be just the reason that we have this map so wide that the utilities here of Fate can be enabled throughout the succeeding times of the rounds in this game?
I think Fade would be a better pick on this map as compared to Breeze, because first of all, it's not as open as Breeze, right? Which means that Fade's
Mm-hmm.
utility has a lot more strength to it as compared to
Yeah.
on Breeze, because her utility I do think has works within a certain range. So if you're out of that range, it won't really work, especially on a map like Breeze, if you're unable to like cut off those really long sidelines. But I think the main initiator that's still picked on this map for information would be Sova.
Yeah, really just goes to show that we need to rely on the info first before we succeed in the following strategies. We have to compromise our commitment, since most of the potentials here may be in favor of the Sovas, of those initiators, and especially the composure and the execution of the rest of the players in their team. And most likely may be happening here is one of the main points here to happen is that will it be a defender sided map, or will it be in an attacker sided map when it comes to their agent composition? Since I'm thinking about the times that the times that we have the games, or we have the rounds all in favor of the defender side because of their composition. And since we are talking about the composition, why not let's go and dive into the agent selection of our players who will be playing in the last and final series of the day.
Yeah, we already see the jet being locked in on the side of Team One. Peakypad actually hovering over the jet as well. I think jet is a pretty much a staple pick for Haven, right? Because there's quite a few off angles on height that you can utilize as a jet. And overall, because of those long angles on especially A long and C long, a jet with an operator is very, very deadly.
Hmm. Especially those long and crazy angles that we expect those jet picks to have those aggressive wing pick, especially that the availability of the other players or the other agents that gives her the
Select your
comfortable
agent.
space to have those aggressiveness. But speaking of, we're seeing here these almost same amount of players. We just have here Shunabi, Joe Savage, and next from the previous round, and the other team. I think this is another set of players that we have to play in. Again, guys, this is the battle between the teams or between the players who were able to register for VCT Game Changers Academy. This is Team 1 and Team 2. Team 1 will be going in for the attacker side.
And I do think we did see some familiar names in the mix, right? Joe
Mm-hmm.
Savage and Shunabi both making their way into this matchup once again on the same team. And
Mm-hmm.
I do think Nyx as well, actually. So this is gonna be a pretty interesting matchup.
Mm-hmm. Really is, since I think this
Oh,
is
it's
almost
a
the
it's a it's
same,
a
or it
mirror comp. It
is.
is a mirror comp.
It is a miracle. So it's just really we're just really morely relying on how the executions will be playing out. And if you can also note it that we have here no killjoy, as we were mentioning it earlier, that will
Mhm.
be having enough advantage when it comes to the post plans, when it comes to the retakes, or even when you have the ultimate lockdown for your attacking side to completely dominate an a side. They're just relying purely more on the duels, since basing on their utilities, I think they're just really just relying on the info that may be gathered by the info or by the utility here from the Sova.
Yeah, Sova on both sides is going to be really, really strong for gathering that information on both the attacking and defending sides. Because as a defender, I don't think on Haven you can really sit still and hold an angle. You have to actively try and get that information for
Mm-hmm.
yourself, for you to be aware where the enemies will be coming from or where they will execute, right?
Mm-hmm. Execution at its finest. We've been hearing so much from the previous stages, from the previous
Yes.
rounds, and from the previous seasons, and now it's like the usual. We see here the teams, we see here the players from the attacking sides talking up into A, trying to have those composures to get inside the site. I think this is Team 1 who will be, or yes, it is Team 1 who will be getting in the advantage of having the lead when it comes to attacking side. But now Joe Savage is really just aggressive at
Uh,
this point of time. Will be picking out on good too, but unfortunately won't be able to survive in any further. Piggy Pet will be also tagged in. Fortunately for her, she's quickly picked off. Two members are down immediately for team two.
yeah, and as Kimi no Toriko trying to hold this flank position is Meikoi, who's gonna be tagged down to really low HP. DLGN good for one with the Sheriff onto Nyx, but the damage has been done on the side of Team 2.
Mhm.
There's two players remaining, one towards mid and one coming in from the CT side, which I do believe the players on Team 1, they
Last
already are
player
aware
standing.
of this. As
Mhm.
DLGN goes in for a third kill onto Meikoi, it's all up to Shunabi. 1v5 situation, gets the first, but
Ooh.
unfortunately, a Frenzy is doing the damage as Shunabi gets taken out.
Oh, really, it was just unfortunate for her to not use in either the dismiss or heal immediately after the pick out of a player from team one was picked off already. Now to our succeeding round, we have here the full unbiased that will be enough for team one to have those fine executions coming as they are the ones attacking. No players defending onto C, which is really one of the biggest questions since we have so much buys from team 2 and they need to make sure that this are really worth it.
Yeah, definitely. This sheriff that's being saved from the previous round on the LGN. Will she be able to find anything?
Ooh.
Nyx is the first one to get the first contact, first pick, but Niro Jetto is there for the trade. It's down to a 4v4 situation. The players coming in from the CT and the garage side as well.
Ooh. Quick trades, quick duels, down to a 4v4. The wall will be penetrated through, but will it be enough to get inside for the retake? Jill Savage here will be receiving a lot of damage from the shock dart and will not be doing any more casualty against Team 2, but Team 2 is already taking enough damage and enough shots here. All the way from Garage. Push was already committed all the way from CD. What won't be happening as much? Dinosaurus here goes in for the wide swing and goes in for the tree. Now, we have only Picky Pet trying to survive and trying to get an APEC with a quick scope, but wasn't enough to deal a lot of casualty against DLG, and another round goes into them, and another broken round or broken bye for Team 2.
Yeah, Team 2, they forced up the previous round. They really tried to win the previous round by forcing up, but I would just say don't count your chickens before they hatch, because unfortunately for them, the plans did not go in their favor. They are lost out on the second round as well, and coming to this next round, they won't really have the economy to be able to buy out, right? We see Joe Savage once again on the Bucky, and I believe it was Peaky Pet on
Oh.
the Marshall as well.
Yeah, will it be worth it though? Since especially here, they are being read by the players already of Team 2. Now the Aldon will be spotting in 1, but with that Rocky goes in for the wild 2K. They won't be surviving any much further since we have here Jill Savage with Trade. That is really just an overwhelming hold. That especially that she was already pinned or already tagged in by the Aldon. She managed to get away with a sneaky pick off.
Yeah, suddenly the numbers advantage is in the favor of Team 2 right now. 4v2 situation is Meikui is going to be playing on her barrier right here as Nanosaurus. Trying to go for falling off of this angle, but Shunabi trying to go in for this aggressive pig. Finds the first head. Unable to connect the shots on the second. Kimi no Toriko is down to 40 HP. Spectre in hand, trying to run and gun, but Meikui is the one who wins that duel. And it's the first round on the board for Team 2.
I was almost doubting if that round will be especially worth it here for Team 2 since, again, as we mentioned earlier, they forced their vice for their guns for enough firepower and they were able to succeed in that round. They were able to at least and have enough firepower to begin with, have enough to counter out Team 1, and Team 1 was defeated as they were sandwiched all the way from A lobby and wasn't able to get inside the site at least. And now they have full on guns. This time it's Team Two's bonus round, and will it be so much in favor of Team One?
Now, Owl Drone trying to clear out these close corners on the seaside. I don't think it's spotted out Meikui, who's playing on this platform position. Crossfire is good between Shunabi and Meikui, but Adi Kichik and Kimo Toriko are the ones who find those picks instead with the superior weaponry. As Drew Savage trying to find some picks from this garage position. Does have a Spectre to work with now, as the attacking side Team 1, they're gonna be able to rotate the spike towards the A side instead.
Mm-hmm. Which is A site is fully free for them to take. But this time around, they are already deciding if B is more effective for them to secure. Kimi no Toriko is really a mouthful name, if I may. But it really goes to show that they have enough executions to begin with. 5v2 at the very moment, the guns are already all in the way in their favor. But they are very low in HP. Once we see here the run and gun be in a big advantage here of Team 2, they will be having this round all in favor of them.
I don't think Nee knows that Nyx has already pushed her way towards the front of side, as Drew Savage finds the first pick onto her instead. Goes try to go in for the tap defuse once again, but Adikachik is the one who cleans that up. Drew Savage good for one, but unfortunately pulls out the knife at the wrong time, and Adikachik immediately capitalized off of that. And it's 3 points on the board for Team 1 right now.
The main mistake of us low elos are committing the knife out if every after kill. Now is the punishment given by Kimi no Toriko. Kimi no Toriko was able to punish it out with that mistake. I really do hope that they will be able to grow up from that kind of hobby. But now Picky Pet with that operator will be countered out immediately by that Aldron, but is not being countered or is not being picked out by any of the member here from Team 1. They will be backing out since this is a lot of casualty if we try to overcommit into C, and this is a good one, especially that Miki is already waiting onto that corner.
Oh, they do
Oh
check her though.
no!
She finds one, but unfortunately she's gonna fall to Ade Kuching. And Nanasaurus with the resurrection able to bring Ni Rorojetto back to life. So numbers advantage is in the favor of Team 1 right now as they go in for this A side execute. The Lear is gonna be popped by this. The Emperor is gonna be popped by the side of Team 1 as well as Ade Kuching, trying to find some damage. Use Savage good for one, but unfortunately will fall to DLG and Piggyback
Wow.
good for a pick as well as Nyx finds two in the midst of the chaos. Ade
Okay.
Kuching able to trade it right back. Still has the Empress online, but numbers advantage right now somehow,
Oh
some way
no.
has been turned in favor of Team 2 as Piggyback trying to go in for this peak with the Arbiter. Gonna get tagged up by Ade Kuching once again. Has the Blade Stomp online as well, but unfortunately for her, she is gonna fall to Shinabi right there from her left. So I think
Mm.
that was a really close round. I don't know what really happened in the midst of the chaos, but somehow, some way, Team 2 was able to
Exactly.
convert off of that, especially
Oh my
since that
god.
shock that did so much chip damage, right?
Yeah, it's just really an overwhelming round, especially that they were all over the place. If ever the spike was already been planted, it could have been all in favor of the Trina from Team 1. But unfortunately, with the time ticking, she needs to force herself inside of the site. And there's just so much pressure since there's 3 still remaining standing from Team 2. One all the way from City, there's also one in Sewers, and one all the way from Heaven. And really just a good post plan for Team 2 since they were able to counter out those dramatic stress that will be received once the spike has already been planted in A. But this time around, they were able to punish onto Team 1 and now will be resulting for an eco round.
Yeah, eco round it may be, but DRGN has the Blade Storm at the ready, so she's looking to do some more damage with it right now online. But Meikei playing with her barrier orb in this garage position. I don't think she's gonna be hearing the members of Team 1 coming her way as the Owl Drone trying to clear her out. She has to fall back off this angle, slow orb out as well to try and delay the push.
And the push is delayed, but unfortunately, Piggy Pet wasn't able to react on time. Jill Savage now, wide swings for the trade. We have now here the TP, but unfortunately, when the wide swing of Nero Rogero was able to catch him off guard. 3v4 the very moment. Nyx with the shock dart won't be committing as much. It's already tagged in with 27 HP and left behind of him. And the Aldron did not even commit any further, but unfortunately here for Adikichi was being tagged off already. 2 members already down. Make it 3. 4 Shinabi goes in. But unfortunately for her, this is Ni Rorojero with the reaction time, with that pick, with that swing. They're very low in HP, and now with the Hunter's Fury, that is going to be the reason of the defuse already being denied. Both of them are reloading into their guns. Swings out. The moment that we have here, Ni Rorojero with a wall bang. This is all in favor now of C1 succeeding in commanding lead against Team 2.
And there was an eco round coming out of them as well, so they were able to find that opening pick. I believe it was DLGN who was able to find that operator, trying to just get that operator off of that angle and open up the site for her team, right? And off of the back of that Team 1, they were just able to convert that round. Look at this clean shot with the Sheriff by Ni Rorojetto once again. 3k in the round for her, really stepping it up for her team.
I really like the factor that she knows that that wall is bangable with that sheriff. So she had the advantage. And it really was unfortunate for that Sage since she wasn't able to swing out of a race to survivability. Now, we have 2-round lead from Team 1. Very unfortunate for the rest of the players here from Team 2 that I see that they are in a kind of a struggle since we saw earlier how commanding or how promising it was for Joe Savage and Javier Shinabi to perform in very well from the previous game. But unfortunately for this one, they're facing in so much matchup against Team 1.
But here's the thing, I think Team 1 is playing this map to its strengths, especially on the attacker side, because they're causing so much noise and chaos on the other side of the map that it pulls rotations away from the side that they want to execute at, right? Which is a clear representation of this right now, as Hunter's Fury is going to get popped by Nyx, trying to find some damage, finds Nanasaurus through the mix, so that's the Sage off of the board for Team 1.
Oh, this could have been good, but unfortunately for the retake members here from Team 1, they don't have enough firepower. The Lear will be the second in Kimi no Targo. She will be surviving it, but the players, it's still complete for Team 2. They're just fully unhesitating on whatever is there for them. We have here Joe Savage with that frenzy, Kimi no Targo with a 2K. Fortunately here, they will be bombasted by the players all the way from City. And now we have so much of a round once again for Team 1. Keep it Tarko with a commanding play with a tricky.
Yeah, but I do think it was a commendable effort from Team One right there. I did see Tsunami, I believe, trying to break that barrier orb in heaven so that she can kind of push the side with her teammates. But unfortunately for her, this she was just a little bit slow. But coming to this next round, the side of Team Two, they are gonna be able to buy up fully. So this is a really important round coming in for them.
It is. They need to win out this one if ever that they don't want to lose another round again. If they lose in this round, they will be having another save in their in team one's favor, and especially with our quick tab, we're looking at the buys of Team 2. They have an operator at hand of Piggy Pet. He needs to make sure that this one is really worth it to use or worth it to buy since it's holding into A main and the players here from A Team 1 is already stocking up here in A. So most probably he can make a hit or will be missing out the shot and quickly trade it up, but at least she has the dash to get away with that casualty.
Yeah, that operator looking to do some serious damage on this A long position right here, but I do think so far the shots that Team One have been hitting have been really clean, so they might be able to just
Mhm.
push Peaky Pet off of that angle and try to go in for this ace executes, which they have been really successful with so far.
Mhm. I really think that they have to play it out with a bait and switch. Bait out with a shot, swing out with that Reina to get in those multi kills that they need to see. They need to have enough morale onto. But with that dash, they will be getting
Oh,
in that info. Immediately goes in for the flick. Pikipet here destroys in one member. Unfortunately, with that smoke, that will be the reason on why Pikipet wasn't able to go into the LGN. Two members are already down for the team two, and now the numbers are just all in favor. Team one to get inside the site, and now Joe Savage with a TP at hand is already on aiming. But what are they going to do next after that paranoia? Joe Savage goes in for one, quickly traded off. Miku won't be surviving any much, but with that quick round, it's just all in favor of Team one, rampaging all the way from CT. The retake did not happen, all in favor of Team two.
yeah, this round was definitely a switch up from what Team One have been doing so far, right? We've seen them kind of try to go for some more defaults, trying to make a little bit of noise on the opposite side of the map. But this time around, they just 5-man held W, ran onto the A side, and they were able to convert the round off of that. I don't think the side of Team Two, they were really expecting that.
Mm-hmm. Oh man, it's just really unfortunate for Picky Pet since they are not in sync with the smokes given to us by Joel Savage. It could have been good, but really was just unfortunate that the moment the smoke popped in, the operator shot that wasn't able or was close enough to have that pick off against the LGM was also there. But unfortunately for Piggy Pet, it's not really doing well for her.
Whoa!
But Joe Savage, it's just the crazy right click off the Bucky. Goes in for one, possibly goes in for two, but unfortunately with a quick and switch that will should have been in favor of Team 2. There goes down three members immediately for them to have their succeeding round on this one.
Adekachik finds another one off the back of that push, but Nyx trying to go in for that trade. Adekachik ready for that as well as she cleans up the round for her team, and it's 7 points on the board for Team 1.
Hmm. Look at that crazy right click. They weren't able to react on time, especially the Chill Savage. This is one of the corners that we cannot expect the aggressiveness to happen. We weren't expecting that aggressiveness to happen since Team 1 has been really committed or really is just committed into the impact that they have been giving. Team 2, since they are leading in four consecutive rounds, winning it flawlessly against the duels without even any objective to take against Team 2. And now it's already 2-7 scoreline, five more. and we need to see here Team 2 coming to have that equalization of this half. But unfortunately, we only have here 3 more rounds to make, and they need to make sure that they completely hold or completely pin down players from Team 1 from trying to get in the site and force it to a 5-7 scoreline.
I do think it would be pretty difficult for them if, especially if they're forcing up this round, but they lose guns if they win this round as well. Because what
Mhm.
happens is that it just so happens that Team One, they have so much economy built up right now that they can, I believe, afford to buy full guns and rifles, just full rifles and full shields coming into the next few rounds, which will probably be enough to close out this half. So this
Mhm.
coming round is a really important one for Team Two to win
It
flawlessly,
is.
especially.
Really is, since they need to save off their economy for the next ones, since it really is important to secure in this half with a 5-7 score line. They need to give an icebreaker on their team to have enough economy, to have enough firepower to stop the momentum of Team 1, who has been really successful on dominating a site, bait out players from Team 2 to rotate in fully to one side to another. And now with the succeeding rounds, I really think that they are in a big pinch since Peaky Pet hasn't been popping off. And speaking of Peaky Pet, he's already down in sewers, already down in the hands of TLGN, and now we're finally down immediately to a 5v4 scenario.
5v4, but Shinobi has the Empress available for her
Oh
online as well. But
no.
on the opposite side, it is Team 1 who also have the Empress on Arena available. Nero Jetto playing in close, that shock that gonna be able to take out that hour drone. So I don't think that they really cleared her out. But Shinobi's already good for one onto Nanasaurus. Adekachi trying to go in for the trade here. So Nero Jetto good for one as Nate's trying to push out from the CT side, but it's Miko with the flag. Finds the first hit. Is she could be able to find anything
Oh
else? Low up is just out at the
no!
wrong
Okay,
time as
Shinabi.
Shinobi finds one for herself, but
No!
unfortunately for her, is going to be taken out by Kimi no Toriko right there. It's 8 points on the
Mhm.
board for Team 1.
Team 1, they are really commendable to follow through the ultimate that they are hearing from Shinobi to enable her from get any more kills. We saw earlier how it was a big of a panic that Shinobi was already committing since the moment she dismisses, the rest of the players remaining from Team 1 and they just went in fully head to head. They went in charging against her. So once the dismiss is already out, she won't be able to react on time since the animation of the kills or all of the dismiss won't be enough to successfully give her the survivability. But now, with man member down already, we have Seaside already committed, already secured in by Team 1.
We have DLGN playing across this dark cover. I think she's able to spot some hits, but it's Jules Savage who spots the head of the opposing Sage right there. Nyx
Oh
has a
no.
classic in hand, but Nero Jetta with his flag. Jules Savage is aware of it, trying to teleport out behind
Oh
Jules
my
Savage. He
gosh!
doesn't know
Let's
it.
go!
Nero Jetta able to convert off of that. As the paranoia comes out, she's trying to go in for more, but she's gonna be met by 3 players playing from this garage position.
I really like how aggressive Nyx is, even though that she only has the classic at hand. She went in with a wide swing, goes in for another quarter, goes in for another. Now finally another round goes in favor of Team 1. 9-2 is our scoreline. That was again an eco round, a save for Team 2. We saw Bucky earlier, but now it's already just down to a Bulldog into the hands of Joe Savage since it wasn't really easy enough for them to see and enough for them to mobilize themselves to have most of the rounds in favor of them since we just saw earlier how commanding or how promising it is. Team 1 was able to successfully pick onto a side, get in those someone holding into that side, and down immediately to a numbers advantage for Team 1.
I think, like what you mentioned, the numbers advantage has always been in favor of Team One, right? Because DLGN has
Mm-hmm.
just been finding those opening picks, which just gives them
Mm-hmm.
that advantage to begin with, and also opens up the site as we see Kimi no Toriko. The Outrun is gonna come out to try and clear out this garage position. Does spot out Nyx, so the side of Team One will be pushing in off the back of that, 5 players all in garage, but it's Joe Cyrus playing it closer to Just find the first pick, and
Oh
unfortunately for her,
no.
unable to find the second, as Nanasaurus is good with the
Yeah.
resurrection.
Scanning ahead.
It's down to a 5v4, everyone, and now they are quickly sided in by the Recon. Down to a 4v4, but unfortunately, Kimi no Toriko wasn't able to give that much out. Piggypet with the Blade Storm was able to mobilize themselves to have their commanding lead with the numbers, but unfortunately, it just really goes down on how that Trina is popping off. 33 HP remaining for this lady over here, but unfortunately with that outdraft, it gives us a lot of advantage for the rest of the players here for Team 1 to secure in their double digit in this first half and this game. Who would have thought that this would happen, especially that we saw earlier how they were really commendable on the first game.
Yeah, that is true, but I do think traditionally Haven itself is a pretty attacker-sided map, so to
It
see Team 1 gain double digits is a honest, but I mean still, to gain double digits on any map itself is still a really uh, commendable effort in and of itself. But let's see if Team 2, they have what it takes to respond to this aggressiveness on Team 1.
Yeah, they really do need and take advantage of whatever there is left with their momentum. And speaking of momentum, they need to gather themselves this fiscal round, since with this they can finally start off strong in this half. But we already hear the dash. Adikechi won't be able to react on time, since with the frenzy at hand for Pikipet, they were able to wide swing on 2 players and down to 3v5s. Now it's all up to Kimi no Toriko, and with their swings or with their composure, with their travel going into garage. One tap to the head of BLGN with the spray of Kimi no Toriko was able to go in for 2, but unfortunately Joe Savage was already completely dominating things out with the 3K. Down to the last remaining member, and I really think that this is still doable, since very low on HP is the two guys remaining for Team 2.
Yeah, but first Dialgen has to spot out where they
my
are. Does
God.
get a first pick onto Joe Savage as she tries to swing off of the back of the other Jet's swing as well. Has a dash at the ready, but
Oh
she
my
does find
God!
a wall bang kill. But unfortunately, time is not
She
in
doesn't
her
have
favor
time.
right now. She's gonna fall to the spike anyway. But that was a really, really good effort by DLGN right there.
Yeah, it is. Since it is a pistol round, there's nothing to lose but the round itself. But with that kind of composure and with that kind of execution, I really do think that they want to put on a stop on whatever is happening already in favor of Team 2. They don't want to have any momentum shift go in favor of them. So now, at the very least, they can have they can play in close counters. Since I'm looking into their buys right now, I think this is just really a banger to start things off, since the shorties are already popping, the shorties are already showing from Team 1.
Yeah, and it seems like it's gonna be a fast A hit this time around as
Oh,
Piggyback
no.
tailwinds onto the side, gets dinged up by that shorty, but she's still able to convert off of that DLJ and go for the trade, but Meifei is the one who fires back, and the numbers advantage is in favor of Team
Look
2
at
right now,
that
as the
smoke.
Shotgun looks to do more chip damage onto Adikuchi.
Down to a 4v3. The post-plant positionings are really just in favor of the attacking side right now, since they have the Spectres who are down. But oh my gosh, what just happened with that wall? It just really, it's unfortunate for the last remaining player from Team 1 to survive. 10 is to 4, 6 more to go for Team 2 to equalize it to a 10-10 scoreline.
I want to commend Nanasaurus for that wall. I think that was a pretty good play, especially since I believe it was Tsunami who was playing in that A shot position, but off of the back of that, unfortunately for her, both members on the side of Team 1 fell anyway. But that was a really good wall, because that was just able to cut off one player from trying to help
Exactly.
on the side, right? So coming into this next round, it seems like they're gonna be trying to go for a garage C split this time around, as Adikuchi trying to go in for some jump peaks here. It's gonna get spotted out, or not spotted out by that recon dart, as the dart cover is gonna come through on this C long position.
The smokes are already placed. Really, it's just a question on how the smokes are already placed. But now, with so many time in favor of Team 1 to rotate, to have so much flanks already happening. They were able to pick onto someone. Kimono Toriko is just patiently waiting into that corner, but with that wide swing, it was really unfortunate for Mikwe to still survive. That the position of the spike has already been compromised all the way from A main, since there are a lot of advantage for Niriroro Chero to make a move, to make a crawl, to make a venture against the players of Team 2 was able to pick down even onto one member against Team 1. 11 is to 4. They have now countered. They have now here canceled out the momentum that might be in favor of Team 2.
Yeah, Team One just as they got all their rifles online, they just said, "Now we're just gonna flawless this out. We're gonna save all our rifles, bring them into the next round, so we don't have to reinvest." But coming into this next round, it is gonna be a full buy run across the board, except for Piggyback, who's actually opting for that judge instead. But I do believe she's made shotguns work in the past before, so we shall have to see what she has in store for us this time around. But Tsunami finds that first pick onto me, Rorojetto, from her position in B window there.
Eh. Crazy angle here committed by DLGN, still trying to commit and forward here in sewer, since she wasn't tagged off. She has full HP. She has a lot of confidence to begin with, and now down to 1 or down to a 4v4 situation. The rest of the players here from Team 2 is trying to survive to have and dominate completely a site. They quickly rotated off after giving off info that what is happening or whoever is in mid. But with that paranoia, no one will be tagged in. Nanosaurus here is just holding into window, but unfortunately for her, Shinobi is there for to welcome her. Adirikechi though, she isn't swat off. She wasn't cleared out, and now she was able to react on time to at least place in her crosshair against that defending member here from Team 1, and it's all up to TLGN to clutch things out with a 1v2. Cloudburst to reposition now. This is thus all in favor of the lead and the remaining members here from Team 2.
Oh, she updraft straight over the wall, but it's gonna
Oh
get
my
spotted out
gosh.
by Nyx right
Oh
here. Unfortunately,
no.
Nyx going to fall to DLGN right there. She has been playing in this position before and almost able to clutch it out. So can she do it again this time around? Unfortunately, she's gonna fall to the hands of Shunabi, who picks up a 4K in the round, bringing Team 2 to 5 points on the board.
Yeah, thankfully for Shinobi, she has the Empress at hand. So she had the firepower, she had the dominating lead, but this is just a mistake committed by Team 2, that they weren't able to check onto the side. They weren't able to clear out backside, which is why Adikechi was able to get in those pickups immediately. This really is the minor problems or minor mistakes that can result to a big major casualty at the gang in your team. But still, a round is a round. They just need to learn from those mistakes and now completely dominate in their sides.
Yeah, that is
Oh
true.
no.
But it's DLGN, good for one with the Blaze Storm completely annihilating the head of Peaky Pet, but Joe Savage is there for the trade. It's making me playing from this garage position. Spike still in hand, no, and from the shadows gonna be popped by Joe Savage to try and draw out some rotations over to the A side. Nyx good for one though, but it's the battle of the omens right here. But unfortunately, Nyx is ready as well to support her teammate DLG, and good for two already onto Shinobi, and the barrier always gonna come through towards the seaside as the spike is gonna be planted. Nyx good for three once again. Really finding this important picks for her team, and it's all up to DLG and 1v3 situation once again.
This is a lot of pressure. He spots in one, goes in for the wall bang. Only 4 bullets remaining for this lady over here. Will he be able to clutch things out? But unfortunately for her, she doesn't know where Nyx is. And now 4K to finish things off with that round. This is really possible for a comeback for Team 2.
Enemy killed.
Okay, let's look at the replay one more time. DLG does find that pick, and this is a really clean shot and spray control coming out of DLGN right there. Unfortunately, the timing was just a bit off for her right there, as Nyx able to pick up 4K in the round, stepping it up for her team right there. 6 points on the board for the side of Team 2 right now, as Team 1, they're forced to go on an eco this round.
Yeah. They need to force into an eco since they need the economy up and going for their team. Now with that info gathered by DLG and with that aggressive pick, she won't be able to tag into one. But unfortunately for her, she needs to back away. She wasn't able to go out on time. Picky Pet here already tagged in. Sprayed and prayed by Kimi no Toriko. One member down. Shock Dart, we have the Paranoia as well, won't be enough to completely dominate and hold on to a site. Unfortunately for Darasaurus as well, she's only just holding onto just her ghost. One member remaining, just all up to Agirigachi with her Spectre at hand. Resurrectioner is also there, Shock Dart's already raining, but the purse of Mikue won't be succeeding in. Adigachi still manages to get in the kill. He can spot onto one member as well. Picky Pet goes down. Fortunately, with that aggressiveness, it's already resulted to a casualty. But Joe Savage is all the way from the back, close enough to knife her out. But Joe Savage has a lot of respect. 7 is to 11 is our scoreline. Really close enough to say that Team 2 is already doing it with their momentum.
Yeah, definitely. You look at this push coming in from the side of Team 2. They were really well coordinated and they were just able to isolate those players on the side and take them out as well. And this aggressiveness coming in from Mei Kuei with that Bucky, knowing that she has the advantage in these close angles, but it's Adikachik to win these gunfights out with the Spectre instead. Unfortunately for her, she is going to fall to Joe Savage anyway. So 7 points on the board on Team 2, trying to make this a comeback right here. The comeback story on the map of Haven itself. And seems like once again, the side of Team 2, they're going to go in for this aggressive A-hit.
Oh no. Picky Pet wasn't able to succeed in that duel, in that dash. Kimi no Toriko was just ready enough for her. It just goes to show that we saw earlier how the adjustments were already committed by Team 1, which is also another advantage for them since they all know the factors that Team 2, they are mostly scattered to get inside the site at least.
And VLGN still holding this angle with an operator, but it's Juice that which finds that pick onto her head and it equalizes the numbers. Right back to Team 2, but once again, this has got to be something that Team 2 have to figure out, because so many times there have been plays on Team 1 on the side and they're not really aware of it. They're just trying to get the spike down there. But the Hunter Sphere is going to come through from the side of Team Toriko, and Meiko is going to get tagged down. Does tag Nanosaurus down to a fraction of her health as well. But Nanosaurus already finding that one pig catching good for one as well. And it's all up to Joe Savage. She's been insanely clean with her Vandal shots today, especially that shot onto DLG and right there in mid. But can she clutch this out?
That is really just a question, especially that they have already compromised in the position of the spike. I just gotta say that Mikue has a lot of blessings to survive all the way from that corner. Imagine all the duels and the casualties, and even have the crossfires happening in C, in which that we saw early how pinned down she was. She was facing in a lot of bullets. She was facing in the shock darts, even having the recon bolts. He was spot off by Adigachi on the last remaining seconds that she was trying to survive in. But now, it was just unfortunate that they weren't able to compose themselves to survive. 7 is to 12. 5 more for Team 2. They have been leading to a close to a comeback, but unfortunately Team 1 is just purely dominating in this game.
Peaky Pan looking to go aggressive in this garage position, catches Nanosaurus out with the barrier orb right there. That's one player down on the side of Team 1 already, as the spike is trying to make its way through mids right now. Dark cover is going to come through for both teams actually to try and deny some information for both teams.
At least this is finally down to an info game. They were able to spot out someone all the way outside of B, but no one from the other players. It's down to a 5v4, which is still doable for Team 2 to make a comeback, but they are relying on to their composure on how to win things out inside of A. Kimi no Toriko was able to survive with the Dwight Swinger Shinobi. She was just distracted with that paranoia given all the way from aiming. Now down to a 4 or 5v3. At the moment, Ni Rorojero wasn't able to survive or wasn't able to have enough duels inside, so she needs to reposition. But she wasn't trying to give off away any kind of info of where she is going from. Adikachi here goes in for the spray. Adikachi goes in for one. The LGN with another, with the TP out. Unfortunately here for Ni Rorojero, she wasn't able to get in the pick off. But the LGN just slamming onto the players of Team 2 with her operator at hand. She's down to half an HP, but unfortunately with that Hunter's Fury, it's not connecting any further. Down to the Shock Darts then. It's not connecting as well at DNGN. Just really goes to show that she has enough adjustments with that Shorty was able to take down the last remaining player from Team 2. No comebacks for you ladies, and now Team 1 succeeding in this last and final series.
I okay, I honestly I don't know what happened during that last round because I thought that it was a 3v5, right? But somehow, some
Mhm.
way, Team 1 was able to turn the
Oh,
tides
it
around
is.
DLGN, especially with that operator really making it work, especially it's so hard to retake with an operator, I believe. But she really made it
Yeah.
work right there, and that was what won them the round.
It was also, I think it was also in favor of Niro Rogero, since she was able to get an attention. Once the attention was gathered, all the crossers are already in favor of her. The attention is already trying to eliminate her. It gave us so much time and space for DLGN to make a retake happen. Even though that she has the operator at hand, she was able to slam onto three players, and it was really wild since we had team two wasn't able to react on time, even though that we have Virgil Savage. Shinabi was been playing so much well from game number one earlier for game number three with Breeze. It really just goes to show that there is also other players who are really better than you.
Yeah, there's so much talent in this pool right here from coming in from Game Changers Academy, the June edition especially. And I think this has been a really good initiative to try and get more female players to come in and try their hand at a tournament kind of setting for their own.
Mm-hmm. Really is just one of the opportunities or one of the stages that can be played out by the ladies who wants to have their spotlight, who wants to gather themselves some much of an experience to create their momentum up and going as they aspire to be a pro player. We saw earlier the potential of these ladies. They were able to give enough even if it's not enough, it's just really their best to win out their duels, to have their succeeding rounds. They have been really commendable, and especially they were able to play out with their roles right. And we saw earlier, it's just some of the times where they were just really caught out by timing.
Yeah, that is true. Timing is a really, really important factor in this game, especially. You really have to be able to catch those moments where the players on the other team, they're not really focusing on you, and you have to be able to capitalize off of that, right? But speaking of timing, I do think it is time for us to say our goodbyes, as it is going to be the end of the June edition of VCT Game Changers Academy APAC here. So Honey Glaze, do you have
Yeah.
any last words for us today?
Well, I really am just thankful for our players for giving with everything that they have to win out their games, to completely destroy in the other team, or even prove to us that they have what it takes to have their comebacks. But unfortunately, it didn't last long. But really is just a good amount of plays in this last and final day. But again, guys, this is Sunny Glaze with the W. I'm also here with Grammy. See you in the next ones here in VCT Game Changers Academy.